Godwin.
We have won.
I've changed my name.
Benjamin Godwin Akakbo.
No, Godwin. That's it. Henceforth, when you see me, Godwin. If you don't know, just on a lighter note. A brilliant morning. And this song was on my heart yesterday morning. So when I heard it playing today, when our production team set it up, I was like, eh.
It was on somebody else's heart too.
Whose? Yours?
Echo, I think.
Oh.
I hope I'm right.
Well,
yeah.
Looks like this morning we nailed it. And it's, this song always gets me reflecting when he talks about robbers coming by, not seeing you. I mean, it doesn't mean that if some things happen to you in life, it means God is outside of your circle or he's left you, abandoned you. But it just tells you of some of the things that God saves us from that we don't even realize. And we think, oh, it's all normal stuff. The fact that you're breathing right now, you've won. Someone didn't even wake up to breathe.
Surely he has borne our griefs.
Yeah.
Surely. And he's carried our sorrows. Hallelujah, somebody.
Amen,
when
somebody.
you feel like losing or when you feel like you've lost, that's when you have to declare that you have won. So I am a winner. I have won. I have won not because I deserve it or because I did some good to win. I have won because Christ won for me.
There's something called unmerited favor.
Yes, man.
So if you look at our own selves, you've got me in the mood this morning.
I am righteousness through Christ. That's my declaration this morning. What is yours as you're watching us? What's today's date again? Like, what's the mood these days? Is it one of like, are you broke? Like,
Oh, you see, I learned a long time ago not to. First of all, let me just say this. I just realized at a point, not just through readings and all of that, but if you tie your entire life to what you earn at the end of the month and all of that, it's a very dangerous thing to do. So I divorced that attitude a long time ago. And Charlie, brothers.
One of these days.
Legal galamsey. The legal type, just to stay afloat.
One of these days, I'll just activate the phone lines for about 5 minutes. Let's talk about the other things that we do that's not on the record. I mean, what actually really pays the bills.
You remember that guy? We pass here. For happen. Else, Charlie. One thing, guy no two studio had the other day, I can't stay by plans. Yeah.
I have a very special birthday dedication before we get into the newspapers. It's from a very good friend of our show. He's sending a special happy birthday wishes to his first daughter, Mirabel Sefako Dapamepo. There you are, baby. It's your birthday today. She is at the Department of French at the University of Ghana. And your dad simply loves and adore you. That's the message to you, Sefako, you celebrate your birthday today. So, Member of Parliament for South Dai to his beautiful daughter. You see her on the screen there. It's her birthday today. Sefako, happy birthday to you. It's also your birthday, Bright Kwabena Arthur, our son, sound engineer, who has promised us, don't eat breakfast, don't eat lunch, it's all on me. So, but Bright, is it his side he gave us? That's him. Bright, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Bright. One more belated birthday wishes to Mrs. Beatrice Tete Bannerman. You're a true joy and blessing. Age graciously on this special day. We love you dearly. So if it's your birthday today, we haven't perhaps mentioned your name, but you know yourself. Happy birthday to you. Enjoy today. More blessings from the Almighty as you celebrate your birthday. All right, Ben, let's get into the newspapers.
Okay, so this morning I have the Daily Graphic, the Finder, the Daily Guide, and the Meridian newspaper. What do you have?
The Ghanaian Times, the Daily Dispatch, the Business and Financial Times, and the Daily Statesman.
All right, so I'll kickstart with the Daily Graphic. Pay more attention to moral education. That's according to the Presby moderator. And a lot to chew on page 16 as he talks about some of those matters. Ghana scores higher on Global Peace Index, and That is also on page 16 of the paper. I'll just take snippets of that. Quite an achievement, quite a feat. And it says, Ghana has been ranked 38th in the 15th edition of the Global Peace Index, a jump of 2 places from the previous year's ranking. The country scored 1.715 points to secure the 2nd spot in Africa, while Mauritius, with 1.592 points, was 28th in the world and 1st in Africa. The two are the only African countries that made it to the top 40, although Mauritius dropped 3 positions from its earlier ranking. And it's good to know. Botswana comes in 3rd place, and globally, of course, some of these Scandinavian countries. But sometimes it gets me thinking what these Scandinavian countries are getting right. Like a lot of, whether you're talking about the human development, index, whether you're talking about peace, whether everything positive, they seem to be really high up there. And it's not that the polls or the surveys are biased. Education and all that, Finland and all those countries, Norway, it just happens that they are doing really well in these aspects. Some of the best places in the world in which to live. Tax stamps grow from 28 million in 2018 to 90 million in 2021. And basically the story telling us about how the affixing of tax stamps on alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages has grown exponentially. Should time suffice, I should give you some more details of that. Yesterday, we were telling you about the polls in Ethiopia getting started. Well, results have started trickling in as Ethiopian electorate defied all odds to cast their votes in a crucial parliamentary election. Early counting started as soon as voting ended, and some 42,000 polling stations opened, with one polling station serving a maximum of 1,500 electorate. The incumbent Prime Minister, Abiy Ahmed, 44, is expected to retain power in spite of the odds, including bad press, war in the Tigray region, among other things. But press was a fourth
including bad
state. Yes, we must say, Vaccine Technology Transfer Center to open in South Africa. It's also on page 5 of the paper. When you go to page 9, Swedish government toppled in no confidence vote. When you hear toppled, you might think there was some coup. Well, it was a legitimate coup, if you like, because when you have a system like the Swedish one, you can do this like we saw in Israel recently. Well, not exactly the same, but similar. President-elect Raisi issues warning over talks. Is all about the Iran nuclear deal. Let's come home. And on page 17, you must have followed that presser yesterday, that conference by the NDC opposing the CJ's petition against Dr. Aine. Grab details on page 17. The center spread of the paper, permanent military base to be established in Boku. That's according to the president. And of course, we've heard of some security challenges in the northern belt of the country recently, and fears of some people spilling over from Burkina Faso. More action needed to eradicate malaria. That's according to Professor Evelyn Koko Ansa. She is director of the Center for Malaria Research of the University of Health and Allied Sciences. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, Talo delivers SHS projects in Western and Ashanti, a no-show on Botiano Red Top Road 3 months after Assembly's promise. So that is exactly what is happening there. I'll bring you some details of this later. Let's do the Ghanaian Times.
Yep, Ghanaian Times newspaper. Here's what's on the front page. Second Emergency and Preparedness Response Project. World Bank approves $435 million for COVID-19 combat. Chalking listing of structures. Professor Samuel Kwabena Enim, the government statistician, was on our show yesterday. He's been also speaking to the Ghanaian Times, and he says 8 million houses has been counted so far. Armed robbers kill mobile money vendor at Okorase. And Child Rights International's survey report says, actually talked to children, asked them to list their top 5 concerns, and guess what? They have done exactly that. And on top of that agenda is jobs, even for children between 12 and 17 years. They say that they are likely to flee Ghana by 2024 due to unemployment and corruption. Here are the other things the children listed: high level of poverty, corruption, high number of orphans and street children, and poor education were the top 5 of their social problems children were most concerned about. And it's interesting what 12, 17-year-olds are thinking about is pretty much what adults are also thinking about, because on top of that agenda is unemployment, and that's our headache as well.
Do you recall that unscripted bit with the little girl? I mean, it hit me the first time. I watch it and sometimes it's funny, but the reality is, at that age, she's thinking, hey, and we'll go and we'll not get jobs. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you have even the children thinking like that. What kind of society are we building?
Because they live with the parents, they live with the adults, they live with us, and they hear our conversations, they see what we go through, and they worry it could be them someday. On page 3, the issue with the armed robbers, a 36-year-old mobile money vendor and teacher of Besiasi Basic School, Solomon Ahin, has been shot dead, and this happened on Saturday at Okorase in the Eastern region by suspected armed robbers. We need to find a solution to this issue of mobile money. They seem to be easy targets for these robbers, and it can happen to one vendor like so many times. There's one just on our stretch, and it happens so often. When it happens, it almost sounds like it's no news, you know.
But after it happens, what precautionary measures? I remember at a former, place that I worked, there was a vendor close by, very busy place. I mean, the next day when we heard their place had been hit, it took us all by surprise. They had lost over 50,000 CDs in a hit.
Yeah. So I don't know, there has to be, because you talked about what changes after the first robbery. Something certainly changes. So they either make physical changes to the structure. Sometimes they change their closing hours. There's so many things that they do, but they still seem to be easy targets for these robbers. I'm not sure. Maybe one of the conversations with the police, perhaps, or the assembly, because they are so close. They are within the community. They are everywhere, really. There's also on page 3, police investigate Accra-Winneba Highway bullion van attack. Story says that the police in the central region are investigating an attack on a bullion van on the Otreko and Dominasi stretch of the Accra-Winneba Highway last Thursday by armed robbers. The driver and 2 policemen on board the van, they give details of the vehicle registration. They were transporting 550,000 Ghana cedis from a bank in Odoko. Okay, details of that, the bank and all of that given though, so you can check it out if you're interested in the details of that. But I guess what is important to us is the fact that police is on this beat. They're investigating this matter. And then more on the Dr. Oponin petitioning the CJ. I think it was in one of the newspapers yesterday, the Daily Guide. This time it's in the Ghanaian Times newspaper, and they talk about the fact that this will not be his first time trying to get the judge sitting on his case to recuse himself. So after 2 unsuccessful attempts to stop Supreme Court Judge Justice Clement Honyanuga from hearing the Cocoa Board 271 million Ghana cedis financial loss to the states, former Chief Executive Officer Dr. Stephen Kwabena Oponi of Cocoa Board has petitioned the Chief Justice, Justice Kwesi Niniabua, over the matter. They don't have exactly details of the petition, but I guess, knowing where we have come from and where we are, we pretty much have a fair idea what he wants the CJ to do. Let's check out what's on the back page of the paper, though. The United Nations High Commission for Refugees yesterday officially opened in Accra the Blue Oasis, a community center for refugees in the country. So this place is right close to us, near the Kwame Nkrumah interchange at Circle. It is to serve as a public gathering space to foster unity among refugees and to also empower them through workshops and seminars to boost their skills. That's the building that you see there. And then strive to be profitable. That's the Minister of Public Enterprises, Joseph Kujo, who's enjoined state-owned enterprises and joint venture companies to be creative and competitive in the operations to make them productive and profitable.
Let's check out the Finder newspaper now. And 55% of children want to migrate, citing no jobs. That's according to a CRI report. It's on page 4. And it goes back to some of what you were talking about a short while ago, Mama V. A new study published in Accra has found that about 55% of children in Ghana believe that the future is bleak and are planning to leave the country by 2040, citing jobs, education, and better standards of living elsewhere as the reasons. According to the report, 94% of the children stated that they were worried about getting a job in the next 2 decades. Okay, well, so I guess we're just re-echoing this for those who can help create jobs to do the right thing. But this story, apart from the headlines, well, there's this one, Swiss chocolate giant to set up processing factory in Ghana. It's on page 6, and it talks about Ghana Cocoa Board signing an agreement with the Beulah of Switzerland, one of the world's biggest cocoa processing and chocolate making companies, to process more of Ghana's cocoa. Very good initiative, but I always go back and I ask myself, the other day I found a list that I've known a lot of Nkrumah's projects when it comes to factories and all of that. I was taking a look at them, and even now when I look at the sort of functional factories that we have, I don't think they compare to what Nkrumah did. So 64 years down the line, how long have we been processing cocoa? And we can't even process enough for the population. The price of a bar of chocolate is so high. When you say some things are not working in this country, you get people telling you this and that, but they are simply not. If 64 years down the line, we need the Swiss to come and, show us the way to go. COVID-19 fight. Schools must not lose focus. That's according to Dr. Richard Asieku. Bokunaba hails Akufo-Addo's policies, and Dr. Awal, former minister, I should say, for business development, now Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, unveils transformation plan for Northern and Upper East regions. But the final story I want to do is this one on page 4. COP Ono charges recruits to maintain standards of professionalism, and recruits of the Ghana Police Service have been advised to maintain high discipline and improve on the standard of professionalism in the performance of their duties to maintain law and order. The recruits, numbering 326 and who passed out from the Koforidua Police Training School, were charged to be guided by the new knowledge and skills acquired and the traditions, values and principles of the service. You know why I highlight this? When the police does something good, I talk about it. When it's bad, I talk about it. Yesterday, I got a call from a friend, a very prominent figure, and what happened to his wife at the hands of a police officer. I'm not going to spill the beans yet because I want certain processes, an official complaint at the station and all of that to be lodged, and we'll take a look at it. But some of our police officers out there, Mama V, it's of course, we will want to hear the other side, but what I heard was very disturbing. That's it with the Finder newspaper.
Let's jump and do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. On the front page, eliminating murder of wives by husbands, report early signs of assault by husbands. COP Yohonu advising wives. I will be bringing a bit of details of this. Ghana is second most peaceful country in sub-Saharan Africa, according to a report. Civil servant group angry with Peter Amewu's comments on them being sacked when governments lose power. Just a reminder of what he's alleged to have said, that, and I'm just reading the quote, "I come to government, I come out with good policies. Unfortunately, the people voted me out of power because they think my policy is not good. Unfortunately, the people who are supposed to implement remain there. They must also go so that we stop this nonsense of allowing people who work in the system destroy the system and the blame is put on a politician. We can't allow that to continue," unquote. And this is, as I'm reading, as it was picked in an online publication. But CLOCSAC, that's the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, they've been responding, and in a statement, they said the former energy minister was full of himself when he was proposing a utopian government where all workers in the civil service are sacked because there is a change in a democratic dispensation. It is not fair to be simplistic in saying that the downfall of politicians could be ascribed to non-implementation of their policies by civil servants. What about politicians who alienate themselves from members from their constituencies or fail to fulfill their promises, with a question mark? Well, there's more to this story really in the paper. Let's see. I think I'll come back and talk about what COP Yehonu, his advice to wives, where he says report early signs of assault to eliminate murder of wives by husbands. I'll come back to that if time permits.
Let's do the Daily Guide newspaper now. And the major stories: owner of smuggled guns arrested. There's also Be Vigilant, Nana to border residents. Ghana judged second most peaceful, and Nana re-elected ECOWAS chair. But there's this story on the international front. Three abducted students killed in Nigeria crossfire. And the authorities in Nigeria's northwestern Kebbi state say 3 students have been killed in a crossfire between bandits and soldiers during an attempt to rescue the abducted students. Parents of the students have said more than 60 students and 8 teachers are still missing after gunmen invaded the federal government college in Yauri on Thursday last week. Residents said bodies of the 2 girls and a boy have been handed over to their parents. It's unimaginable. You can't imagine being in such a situation and how you would feel as family, as parents. Our hearts go out to them. Every now and then you hear of these kidnappings. It's becoming something else. But on the international page, Timi Dakolo's kids know their mother was allegedly raped. The same Timi Dakolo that you remember that song?
Oh, yeah. I love a song. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that one and it was a bit... So soul singer Timi Dakolo has revealed that he has chatted with his kids about their mother's rape ordeal. In June 2019, Busola Dakolo dragged Pastor Biodun Fatoyimbo, the senior pastor of Commonwealth of Zion Assembly, to an FCT High Court for allegedly raping her twice before she turned 18, about 20 years ago. Well, crime will find you, no matter how long it has been. And check out this one. VGMA, Trigmatic sure of winning Record of the Year award. That's also in there. That's it for the Daily Guide newspaper. All
right, let me do the Business and Financial Times. Front page on technology. Harnessing Finance and Technology takes center stage today at Meeting RBGH Business and Financial Times Digital Conference. Pass Occupational Safety and Health Bill now. That's a safety expert making this call. Inflation rate to remain within targets in the short term, according to Standard Bank. Cedi's gain against dollar slows. Children skeptical about future prospects. That's what we've been sharing with you on the Child Rights International survey. Schools must not lose focus in COVID-19 fight, according to Dr. Richard Esiedu. Just running through what's on the front page. Leverage remittances for economic recovery post-COVID-19. Digitalization, a necessity in the new normal. Also a feature in today's edition of the Business and Financial Times. If you go to the back page, FBN Bank, National Trade Forum opens Wednesday, set to bring trade agenda to the front burner and combating neo-colonialism in Africa's venture capital industry. There's a write-up on the back page of the Business and Financial Times. If you're interested, you can grab the paper and check it out.
You know, looking at the stories in the Meridian newspaper, I likely wouldn't have, because it just goes back to many of the stories we've taken a look at. But let me go to page 4 of the paper, and I do admit I'm going to be a bit mischievous here. How does this hit you? Government to construct guinea fowl factory in Boku. And the president has given the assurance that government will construct a guinea fowl processing factory in the Boku municipality of the Upper East region. He said the factory would be constructed under the One District, One Factory initiative, saying in the same way under the One District, One Factory policy, we're going to establish very soon a guinea fowl processing factory here in Boku.
Maybe there are private people who are already successful in that venture, so they want to give them the support so that they can expand.
Ayo. Do you like guinea fowl chinchinga? Guinea fowl kebab?
Of course. Don't make me choke, man.
Already considering some guinea fowl, delicacies this morning. Very spicy ones, of course.
Okay, so I wanted to do a bit of this story on the back page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper, where the Director General in charge of special duties at the Ghana Police Service, COP Christian Tete Yohonu, is calling on the general public, especially women, to collaborate with DOVTSU, that's the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit. Well, he says that there's a growing phenomenon, there's a worrying trend these days in the country in recent times where married men are brutally assaulting their wives, which in some cases lead to the death of the women. First of all, he's assuring that DOVTSU is the unit and they're on top of their game. So if anything happens, please report to the nearest DOVTSU office, and then they are scattered all around. All women who are suffering any form of domestic abuse, go to the nearest DOVTSU office or police station to make a report without fear before things get out of hand. It's a direct quote. He stated that domestic violence is a criminal issue, therefore should not be covered up and be resolved by families. Yes, let those who have ears hear. Yeah. That's a good call, by the way. I know that there are so many things that we cite. There are so many, excuses that sometimes we make for not reporting. And there are people who have not lived to regret it because they have died in the process. So once we have breath and we experience it, just make a report. You never know. It doesn't mean that as soon as you report, they're going to arrest your husband and put him behind bars, or in this case, your wife, because there are some women who are alleged to, be beating their husbands as well. So when it happens, please report. Let there be on record, that there's been something, so that if something else happened, at least they can go back and trace. And then, who knows, you could be saved before you die. Don't die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't sit there and die. Okay, on that advisory note, shall we do myjoyonline.com, or there's a story that you wanted to highlight?
No, I just noticed, this is just random, that on Twitter, Omar Sterling is trending at number 2, and at number 1 is that new album, Same Earth, Different World. It's interesting, some of the comments that are coming up about this rapper and that new album he has out. I think it has some 20 songs, and people are talking about the variety and all of that. I've not listened to any of it, and to be honest, R2Bs and all. Maybe I have my favorite R in the 2Bs. Refuse to be broke, but
I like Payday. I like Payday.
I'll not say I reserve my comments. I comment my reserve. I comment my reserve on that one.
Payday, yeah. All right, so we're going to go to myjoyonline.com. But did we mention yesterday that our president has been re-elected?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
The papers have even said it today.
Yeah.
And I think yesterday as well. I think 1 or 2 said it.
So just in case you haven't heard, President Akufo-Addo has been re-elected as chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government for another 1-year term. Well, his colleagues said that his leadership has been extremely good, and so they want to give him the nod again. So congratulations to our president. All right, let's do myjoyonline.com. Ben?
Well, COVID-19, deadly Indian strain detected in Ghana Sputnik V AstraZeneca vaccines, not effective against it. When you go further, well, more stories there. AG warns of possible contempt action against Fix the Country campaigner. My opinion on 2020 election petition ruling didn't harm reputation of justices. That's Ayene replying the CJ's petition. We are not robbers. Forgive us. Siblings arrested for flaunting guns in viral video. You remember those that we saw with the pump action gun and all of those. They are saying they are galamseyas. They are not anything else.
Okay, what I'm going to say will be radical, so I won't say it. Go ahead.
Kufuor touts government's efforts in Ghana's performance in latest Global Peace Index. Fix the Country campaigners want AG out of injunction case, and swoop arrest is knee-jerk reaction to insecurity challenges. That's according to Bombande. SHS student beats teacher to pulp, stab security man with broken bottle. When I was following the story yesterday, I was just thinking, what is going through the mind of this boy? And what temerity. Hey, ayo. And then revisit community policing policy. Bombarded tells police administration. There are many more interesting stories you can check out there. You can also check out that story. I know a lot of you have loved it, especially since yesterday. You know, when Israel Laya shared with me on Father's Day that when he had his first child, that was like an amazing, I asked him what was one of those, like the best moments for him as a father. And he said when he had his first child and looked at the child, I was like, you are here too. That story is trending. You can also check it out on myjoyonline.com.
I've got a birthday dedication before we make way for Muftau, who will talk about that fairy tale ending for Denmark yesterday. We're also proud because of what they had gone through. But it's your birthday today. Diana Afi Akuno of the Eastern Regional Police Command in Koforidua is your birthday today. I understand you're also following the AM show. You actually follow the AM show. So from all of us on the show to you, Diana Afi Akuno, happy birthday to you. And of course, all your friends here at Multimedia, including Joseph. So enjoy your birthday. If it's your birthday today, stay with us. Muftau Nabila Abdullahi will bring us what we missed in the Euros. And then what we should look forward to. England is in action later today. Yeah. They need a winner. Afadida.
So I don't know. I've not followed their situation.
Just a draw.
But
when you have France, Italy, when you have Belgium.
No, but Italy has got maximum points and all of that. So the way it is, England has to struggle through. But at least a draw would see them. Overhyped
England. All right, so Muftau.
Where did you sleep before waking up this morning? Anyway, there's more in sports coming your way with Muftau. Do stay.